Good morning. It's the 28th of November, 2025. And my dear friend Janet Ozenbard did a wonderful series called The Fall of the Cabal. And now we're seeing what she documented very, very clearly 5 years ago and longer. She did a great series and she's greatly missed by us all. And I would urge everyone to watch that, because right now, what you're seeing is the collapse of the Cabal. So what is the Cabal? The British royal family, the EU, the hegemony of the United States of America, the control of the three pillars of evil, as I call them, the City of London, the Vatican, and Washington District of Columbia. That's all being dismantled. Now, it is very much a controlled demolition. And I'm going to urge you to watch this short video that Scott McKay's done.
So here it is, Operation Silence the Swamp. The government shutdown is now a purge. Over 4,000 federal workers have vanished from payrolls, erased, not fired. Entire departments are collapsing as Trump dismantles a bureaucratic monster. The media calls it a stalemate. It's not. It's controlled demolition. Up to 10,000 positions targeted next. This is not about budgets. It's about elimination. The next phase, judicial collapse. Federal courts are buckling. Civil cases frozen. Administrative reviews halted. Only criminal prosecutions continue. The judiciary is starving and cracking under Trump's momentum. And beneath the surface, a ticking case. Louisiana versus Calais threatens to shatter decades of Democrat power engineering. The courts aren't reforming, they're rearming. Military engagement on home soil. Trump is federalizing National Guard units in Portland, Seattle, and Florida. These are not peacekeeping missions. These are preemptive strikes against domestic insurgents. Judges scream illegal. The White House calls it sovereignty enforcement. The Guard is mapping, deploying, and locking zones. No more Chaz, no more riots. The line is drawn now in steel. Economic reset underway. Markets shake, gold rises, the fear index explodes. The fake recovery narrative has been unplugged. No reports, no data, no illusion. The system is being starved of oxygen. Shutdown cost $15 billion a week. But that's the price of liberation. This is not a collapse, it's a controlled reset. Next is espionage and retaliation. 6 foreign nationals expelled overnight for waging spy war on U.S. soil. Intelligence chatter ties Chinese crypto ventures to old regime players. The press panics, but the message is clear. Retaliation has begun. Media warfare. Screens across airports now broadcast messages exposing Democrat sabotage. Not ads, directives. It's not propaganda if it's true, Trump's aides say. The narrative battlefield has moved to terminals and timelines. Minds are being recaptured. The strategy: overwhelm, collapse, rebuild. 4 steps: dismantle the bureaucracy, break judicial chokeholds, militarize internal defense, and choke the economy of lies. Every move forces the deep state to panic and reveal itself. The last 2, the execution continues. Trump is not responding, he's commanding. Every level of power now turns against the system that betrayed the republic. This is not reform, it's judgment. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States, he was their target. Now he is their reckoning.
Paul, good to see you.
Good morning, Charlie. Hello, everybody. Well, my first story: days after an Afghan national fatally shot a National Guard soldier near the White House, President Trump announced he would permanently pause migration from all third world countries to allow the US system to fully recover. Trump said the move targets illegal admissions, limits federal benefits for non-citizens, and seeks to remove those considered a security risk or not contributing to the country.
This is a very important story and a very important point, Paul, because at the moment the UK is flooded with what are called illegal immigrants, and they're not. These people have been let out of prison in their own country, or they have been contracted from their own military to come to the UK. These are young men of fighting age, between the age of 18 and 30. They're living in the UK and they've been caught living in hotels. And thanks to the young men and women in the UK who've exposed them. But now they're being moved to military bases. So the UK will be exposed for what they're allowing in what they call illegal immigration. Now, I've got a very simple question for my audience. These men that came into the UK 3 years ago and were put into hotels, why have they not already been processed? Very simple question. None of them have been processed. They've all been given jobs with Deliveroo and one thing and another, but not processed in 3 years. Why? Paul?
Well, Charlie, I want to add on to that as well. They're also being allowed to police themselves. They're being given security badges. I mean, is that not just wrong in itself?
It's completely wrong. And this is where we've lost our way. My father used to give me a little example as a young man. If you leave New York in a boat and you're heading to Ireland in a boat, and you're only 1 degree out when you leave New York, not only do you miss Ireland, you miss the UK. You land up in France. And that's what's happened. We've landed up in the wrong place. But to get back where we need to be, we're going to have to cross some very rocky waters. And that's what we're doing right now. We're getting back to where we should be.
Well, my next story, Russian President Vladimir Putin says signing a peace treaty with Ukraine is legally impossible for now, citing the cancellation of Ukrainian elections and questioning President Zelensky's legitimacy. Speaking after a state visit to Kyrgyzstan, Putin said Moscow remains open to a future agreement, but only if Ukraine lifts martial law and holds election.
Well, this is a very interesting part of the pantomime that's playing out. When you're losing badly in the war, you're not in a strong position. Zelensky was in a strong position a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Not any longer, but this is all part of the pantomime, and Putin's going enough's enough. And they're in a very, very strong position. The biggest problem that you have with mainstream media is they underestimate and they under-egg the power of Russia. It's a very strong country. A very united country, believe it or not. A very clean country, a very safe country. Very interesting to see the dynamics play out. My next story is very important for those people who are waiting for the RV, for those people who are waiting for their digital currency, for those people who are waiting for change. Now is the time to prepare yourself mentally for what it is like to live in a world of abundance. The easiest way to do that is to surround yourself by people who are wealthy and look at the habits that they have. Because money doesn't buy you happiness. It magnifies what you really are. So if you're a twat, you just become a bigger twat. If you're a good person, you become a better person. Now's the time to work on the twat and make it become a better person. Paul.
Well, Charlie, my final story. Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu has declared a nationwide security emergency as terrorist attacks and mass kidnapping surge across the country. The growing crisis even forced him to cancel his planned trip to the G20 summit. Tinubu has ordered a major boost to security forces, including 50,000 new police recruits and expanding military training, with personnel being sent to the hardest hit regions.
Yeah, and my final story is God doesn't send anybody to hell. Hell is a place of your free choice. It's up to you. Whether you want to live in paradise and a wonderful life, or whether you want to live in fear, in turmoil, in terror for the rest of your life. It's your choice. Choose wisely. I'll leave you with that thought. This was the news on the 28th of November 2025. It's Friday. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you on the Insiders Club tomorrow. Don't miss it.
Take care.
Noble Gold. Real assets. Real value. Your wealth protected.